Today's topic is first. I normally don't take. We're trying something different this time. So today is the paradox of denying truth. We're going to be responding to a commenter's comment. Solipsism. I have my notes. We're trying something new here. We got notes this time. So I also remembered why I don't shoot videos in my den anymore, because I sat down, I had everything, I got my notes ready, and then the mariachi music starts playing immediately, and I'm like, you guys, you started now? Like, his homeboy across the way, he's got his saw going. Anywho, if you've been with the channel for a while, you welcome. NR Phoenix, hello. Suen Williams, hello everyone. Nice to see you guys. And they're just turning the music up. So if the music, can you guys hear the music in the background? Let me know if it's too loud. Let's see if I can. I'll pull up our video. Whoa. Okay. Today's topic is I got a comment. And if you guys want to see the original comment, here it is. I will read the original comment to you guys in depth so that you can. It was a video I just posted yesterday called. It's called "I Stopped Reading Self-Help Books and I'm Happier." It's not bad. All right, Inara, is my voice coming through? All right. Thank you guys. So this is what the comment read, and you can pull it up. Maybe I.
Next Insurance really just took that extra.
Come on, don't do this to me. All right. The comment says this. The knowledge that you can know something of something that you are not is something that cannot be understood. Those who fantasize richly and give meaning to the information sent by the environment and words are merely illusions who themselves cannot encompass the process of their own thoughts. So already this person's coming in hot, sort of criticizing what people think. It says, those who illusionize in their own wonder find themselves in a mystical space where something seems to exist but is impossible to observe. The only thing that really helps is to make clear to yourself what you can believe. Everything that one believes exists there where something from outside yourself enters. I'm going to post this. If you guys want to follow along with me, let's do this. If you guys want to, because it's kind of a convoluted comment. It's a very convoluted comment. It's thought-provoking, which is why I'm here with you guys. And basically, I'm doing this. Let me lay out my thesis so you guys know what you're getting yourselves into. The spiritual community, in my experience, has been hijacked by a philosophy called solipsism, which is tales as old as time, which is a really old philosophy that says one cannot know anything outside of themselves to be true. And modern solipsists go as far as to use science to prove that, and somewhat fairly, in saying what you experience isn't direct experience. For example, when you look at the sun is existing, is emitting light, the photons hit your receptors, and that's where the disconnect is. Your mind isn't perceiving the sun. Your mind is perceiving the input given by the receptors in your eye. Does that make sense? Let me know if that, just say I, spelled A-Y-E, if that makes, say I. Meaning, we can't have direct experience with the external world, and therefore, the only thing that's real is our own, right? So I'm trying to disprove that, or at least I'm trying to open the minds and sort of reroute your average spiritual practitioner, because a lot of it's been hijacked by the New Age spiritual community, which says the only thing that matters is the individual perception of the world. All that matters is your subjective reality. You shape reality as you deem. Does that make sense? Maybe I should have started this live earlier. The neighbors are bumping mariachi music, friggin' sierreños. The neighbors over on this side are friggin' building a house. Phuket, blessings. Talks about 3 pathways to knowing truth: direct experience, inference, and spiritual scripture. I like that. That's beautiful. Thank you, Inara. Okay, so we'll proceed with that. Everyone, hello. My name is Keith. You are a man of letters. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We do deep dives. I promise I'll be more consistent, especially now that we're getting into the darker months where we can really kind of sink in to our mushrooms and whatnot. Long time, everyone. Active edits. I know. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Let me see. All right. The audio sounds great. Okay. So I have notes. Would you guys like to read along with the comment? If you'd like to read along with the comment, I will post it, or at least I will post the link in the chat box. Okay, if you guys want to read along with the comment, because we have to read along with the comment, and then we'll break it down. Some bullet points. Can we truly know reality? Is language capable of capturing truth? What are the ironies in doubting our ability to know anything, which is what this comment is trying to suggest. I'll summarize it first, and then we'll read it. The summary of the comment I'm about to go over basically says, you know nothing, Jon Snow, other than your own direct experience, your own mind, and even contradicts themselves slightly in saying that even because of our biases, what we do view reality, or how we view reality is biased, and therefore we can't even trust our own thoughts, which is like going off the deep end. This is like one of the most extreme forms of solipsism I've ever seen. Here comes my son Alice. What's up, baby? I'm on a live. What are you doing?
On YouTube?
On YouTube. I'm working right now, though, love. You gotta go inside, okay? Just say hi real quick. Say hi, everybody. You guys remember Atlas? Look how big my baby is now. Okay, go inside, Bubba. Thank you for saying hi. Want to say hi real quick?
Are you on live on... Are you on live on YouTube?
Yeah.
Huh, he liked him.
Yeah, okay, go inside, Bubba.
Why are they clapping like that?
Oh, because he likes to clap. Okay, go inside, Bubba. I love you. So here...
Be right back.
Okay, love.
I will see you later.
Okay, I'll see you soon, Bubba.
See you later.
See you later. Look, there's only a few comments, so take a look at the comment. I just sent the link. It's by a Battle Station BS T3P. It's pretty long. So this comment is trying to convince you that everything is an illusion and everything is subjective, and that you and I cannot understand truth externally, which I strongly disagree with. So I'm going to read the comment. It says, the knowledge that you can know something of something that you are not is something that cannot be understood. So right there, first and foremost, this is a spiritual comment from a spiritual person who I assume, if we're going to lay some foundation, goes with this idea that there is a God, or that there is oneness from which we all come from. Like we're all one, which is already a contradiction, because how can you be, he says, knowledge that you can know something of something you are not. How are we not anything if we're all one underneath it all? If the persistence of the illusion comes from somewhere, the underlying reality of existence, right? If we all come from that one thing, then we are all one. So how can we, so right off the bat, there's a contradiction in the explanation. Says that you cannot know something that, or it cannot be understood for you to know something that you are not. Contradiction. Those who fantasize richly and give meaning to the information sent by the environment in words are merely illusions who themselves cannot encompass the process of their own thoughts. Basically saying, you know, if you're getting your info from the external environment, it can't be trusted because it's the external environment. Those who illusionize their own wonder find themselves in a mystical space where something seems to exist but is impossible to observe. The only thing that really helps us to make clear to yourself what you can believe, everything that one believes exists there where it's convoluted. Everything that one believes exists there where something from outside yourself enters. This is not comparable to the clarity you gain when you are able to see through the absurdity of someone's madness. Personal projection there. For what does not exist in your own reality is merely a state of being in which you believe because someone else is trying to make you believe it. The irony being that this is someone else trying to make me believe in an absolute reality. So you can already see this entire thing is convoluted, is ironic. Like the irony of someone trying to tell me that the external world, that you cannot find truth in the external world, Yet here they are, part of my external world, trying to preach to me an absolute reality. Are you guys? Are you following this? And this is a greater problem of the spiritual community as a whole. Is this like heavy weight on subjective reality being like king of all? So we'll keep going. We'll break it down further too. We'll get into some stuff. We'll do some Q&A. I want to hear you guys' feedback. I'll read your comments, but let me get through this comment first. Wisdom is realizing that you cannot know anything. I strongly disagree with that, because what we think we know is merely a construct of our thinking power and tells us nothing about the true reality that our thoughts produce and why this happens. It sounds beautiful. It sounds like this person's been reading a lot of Taoism, a lot of alchemy. It sounds like this person's been studying a lot on New Age spiritual jargon, but they've gone off the deep end. I'm sorry, they've gone off the deep end. Again, they're basically saying that you can't know anything externally because I don't necessarily know why. Its outcome is already distorted. Oh, this is why. Because the outcome is already distorted before the thoughts even arise. Do not let yourself be seduced by the language which one keeps the illusion alive that is real. Funny, because I feel like the only person that's being seduced in this comment is me with the, like, this is very pretty, very poetic. They're hitting all the keywords, you know. What is truly real is that which requires no words. Like, it's eloquent, it's well said, it's thoughtful, but it's wrong. It's off the deep end. Or maybe it's not wrong. I'm not trying to say what's wrong and what's right. I'm trying to make sense of common spiritual conversations, common spiritual jargon, and the words that we use, and the words that we don't use, the words that we overuse, the ideas that we sort of take too far, and we lose ourselves in, like, we get lost in the sauce. This is like, this is a comment that is completely and utterly lost in the sauce, is how we would say it on the streets. Anywho, let's keep going. Do not let yourself be seduced by the language with which one keeps the illusion alive that it is real. What is truly real is that which requires no words. The words that do not even come to your mind to experience that you are the only person who can help yourself when you are lost in the fantasies of others. The irony is painfully tangible. It's like everything that this person is preaching against is what they're doing to convince you of their truth, which is, look, it says, look consciously around you. Take in everything you can observe, and then ask yourself the question, did I think this? Or did it already exist before I even knew how to interpret it? Kind of convoluted. Yeah. It is, after all, learned, and it tells you nothing about your own true nature. And the only thing you can know about it is what already exists in words. This is what we call a half-truth in Gnosticism or Hermeticism, alchemy. We call this a half-truth. There is a paradox that we must accept and that we almost must not try to understand, because it's like Hermetics says, which is a philosophy of spirituality, more than a religion. It's more of a philosophy, which I appreciate. Trying to understand the paradox is like Romeo and Juliet trying to ask where they came from. Like Romeo and Juliet jumping up and exclaiming, I am Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet somehow pulling themselves from the pages of a book and manifesting themselves in our reality. That's sort of the paradox. That's akin to the paradox we deal with. And they're really, so what I want to make clear in my presentation, why I feel so passionate about this topic in particular, is because solipsism, which is New Age spirituality, is dangerous. I listened to a speech by this either what they preached, someone called me, let me know if it's still live. What they preached in Satanism, Luciferianism, I can't remember which one, I don't know if they're interchangeable, was they wanted the masses of the spiritual folk, who are the inquisitive ones, who are making the attempts to at least find truth in that niche, in that field. They want to interject this idea that you cannot know anything. And that's what this commenter is saying knowledge is inaccessible, because knowledge comes from outside of yourself. So you can't know what's real. And this person even goes a step further and says that you can't even know if your own thoughts have meaning behind them, because you have bias. Keeps trying to call me. This person keeps says that you have bias built into your worldview, and therefore your worldview is morphed based on your perceptions, and therefore your thoughts can't be trusted. So this comment goes way off the deep end. Whoever left this comment is super lost in the sauce. They're saying, one, you cannot know anything external from yourself, because we live in an quote-unquote illusionary world. And two, we can't even know the reality and truth of our own thoughts, because we have bias in our own thoughts. And so this person is basically saying you cannot know the external world, and you can't even know the internal world. But they're trying to convince us of an absolute reality. Like, do you see the paradox? Do you see the irony in this sort of spiritual reasoning, spiritual jargon, spiritual wordsmithing? This is like beautifully scripted spiritual wordsmithing, but it is god awful. One, it's awful because what does that provide the reader? All that's provided the reader is an existential crisis. So imagine someone who's like balls deep in plants that sort of open you up. You guys know the plants I'm talking about, that open you up and sort of dissolve the ego and let your barriers down, let your walls down, so that you're super receiving. That's what our plant medicines do. They help us break down the ego, break down the walls. So say you're in a state of heavy plant ally fondling, and you find yourself enveloped in language that says you can't know what's real. The external world is false. Even your internal world is false. Like, you're just gonna send people spiraling into an existential crisis. Like, this is not only that, but what you allow is the person with knowledge of the natural world now becomes the most power. Because if you say that there is no truth, what happens to morality? If the individual is the only person that defines objective reality, and you have 7 billion different individuals, and let's say everyone believes this, that means you have 7 billion, or however many people live on Earth, you're having 7-8 billion people all believing that their reality is absolute. That's chaos. Not only is it false, but it's chaos, right? So let's, may I go into the comments? Don't leave. We have a lot more good stuff coming out. I was good this time. We're not freeballing. We're kind of freeballing. It's scripted for mostly, so we'll stay. I just want to check in with the comments. Maybe this person grew up and wasn't allowed to trust the experience they had. Possibly. You have a Rakshasa demon mask behind you. You like that? He keeps us on our toes. He keeps us on our toes. Where we at? Breaking the fourth wall, lol. Naran Doana. Juliet was real in history. I'm not sure about Romeo. Kind of missing the point. The point is, okay, let's use Gandalf then. Is it better? Is it better if I use Gandalf? Is it better, Noran, if I use Gandalf instead of Juliet? So it'd be like Gandalf jumping up and saying, I am J.R. Tolkien. J.R. Tolkien is not Gandalf. He's an extension of Gandalf. The consciousness that is J.R. Tolkien lives inside of Gandalf. How could it not? But Gandalf is not J.R. Tolkien. It would be silly for Gandalf to be like, he's no more J.R. Anywho. Isn't reality awareness? We can go into what reality, like I said, I'm not here to tell you what is and what isn't. more so to define the words that we use in spirituality, define their usefulness, or at least extrapolate upon their usefulness, and extrapolate upon their dark side, and how it could negatively influence someone like you and me on the journey, the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of happiness. So we'll go into this. We'll go into what is quote unquote reality. Let me see any more. Stop. How do I get rid of this? Okay, there we go. Hard to follow with the idea I am not my thoughts, feelings, or body. Can you go deeper into that in our Phoenix? I'm not sure what you mean by that. The nature of reality does not appear to attempt deception at every turn to me. The nature of reality does not appear to attempt deception at every turn to me. All right. Greetings, feminine, masculine. There we go. There's a nice little balance. Okay, everyone. My name is Keith. Welcome on in. We're going in. We're responding to a comment that someone left on my YouTube channel, and how dangerous that comment is. We just went over the comment now. So someone said, "Isn't reality awareness?" That might be one of the best description of reality I've ever heard. Simple, to the point. You know, the Gnostics and alchemists, hermeticists will define reality as the underlying existence of everything. Reality, meaning real, is the thing that does not change. It defines as something that changes from one day to the next as being an illusion. Again, this is as defined by the Gnostics, not black and white. If you take what you will, but reality is the underlying existence of everything, the unchanging thing. So we look out into the world and we see the only constant we see here is change, right? The sun seems pretty constant, but it's going to be gone one day. The earth seems pretty constant. It's going to be gone one day. So there are science aims at tendencies. So our science aims to prove tendencies. You could say it's scientific that the sun rises and sun sets, but what's more accurate is to say what's scientific is the sun has a tendency to rise. The sun has a tendency to set, because one day it won't rise. We could get slammed by a meteor and it could change the rotation of the earth and the sun. You know what I mean? There are change is the only constant. But the paradox is change is a constant. So what is the constant that keeps our reality going? What is the constant that makes, the law of as above, so below be a thing? Why is as above, so below a thing? Why is the law of vibration a thing? Why is the law of gender a thing? The underlying existence of everything is God. That's what the Gnostics and the alchemists and the hermeticists, what they call God, is the thing that doesn't change. It's been here forever, will be here forever. It's outside of definition. It's outside of being a man or a woman. It's outside of gender, period. It's outside of emotion. It's outside of logic. It's outside of illogic. It's outside of everything. It's something that we cannot wrap our heads around, because like I told you before, us saying I am God is like Gandalf saying I am J.R. Tolkien. Gandalf is an extension, exists in the mind of J.R. Tolkien, but is not J.R. Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings. You and I exist in the mind of the All. We are an extension of the All. We have the gifts and the powers to a lesser degree of the All, but we are an extension of it, not it itself. Does that make sense? Rusty Utter, hello. So all right, I guess we can keep going with. Seems this person's hung up on the idea that the thoughts themselves are informing reality. Yeah, well said, NR. I wrote the language and perception are imperfect filters for understanding reality commonly. So in this comment, something comes up. In the comment that was left on the video is this idea that language and perception are imperfect filters for understanding reality. And this is super common in New Age. Like, how many times do you hear in New Age or spirituality, that words aren't good enough to describe what reality actually is? The irony being that they're trying to use language to convince us of that. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that language limits our understanding of reality? Or do you guys believe it can still convey truth effectively? Like, what do you guys think that language is a barrier to reality? And for that matter, it wouldn't it language in this case is just an external validation for reality. I think what the underlying message is that external inputs cannot be good inputs for what reality actually is, whether it's language, whether it's your vision, whether it's touch, and I would argue even love. Because love is something, you can't have love without an external reality. You love, to love something, even if you love yourself, because who's doing the loving? The self is doing this, like, you know what I'm saying? There's always going to be an interaction between things, which means that one of them is going to be, you know, let's say the commenter, and the other thing is going to be something that's fake. So that I might be getting convoluted at this point. It's so the idea of solipsism and radical skepticism, which is what this comment was, introduced the idea that only one's mind is certain to exist. And the spiritual community find this appealing because they have to. If the spiritual community says the external world is an illusion, they're including the people in it. So if I say you guys are all an illusion, that basically means y'all don't mean shit. And I am real. You're an illusion, because how can we say the external reality is an illusion and not include the people that are in that external reality? So you see how this sets us up for some pretty demonic, heavy egotistical things, like heavy egotistical things. Like the contradiction that spirituality wants to dissolve the ego, that the mainstream spirituality, New Age thought wants to, one, dissolve the ego, but two, wants to say that the self is the only real thing that exists, being the ego. So they want to demolish the ego, but also strengthen it to the high heavens, and saying that you, my good friend, are the only thing that matters, which is, does get more egotistical than that, you know what I mean? So have you guys had this thought before? Am I speaking to the choir? I don't know. I've been disenchanted with most spirituality stuff, not because of me. Not that there's anything wrong with spirituality as it's presented most of the time online or in person. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm doing some soul searching stuff. So in other words, are my thoughts something that are shared with you guys? Are you like, oh yeah, Keith, we've been on this hype for years, you just been out of the loop? Anywho, let's keep going. I have a whole bunch of notes written down. We're on subjective versus objective reality. And if you guys are, what I mean by subjective and objective, subjective reality is something that changes, right? Subjective reality would be when I'm in the shower, I like it at a certain temperature. When my girl is in the shower, she likes it at a certain temperature. So if we're in the shower at the same time, I might be like, yo, this water's way too goddamn hot. Can we turn this down, please? And she might be like, no, it's not hot at all. Like, you like it cold, right? That's subjective reality. Is the water hot or is it cold? Well, depends on who's in the water. Objective reality would be like, and objectively speaking, would be like, I want to lose weight. Like, Keith, how do you want to lose weight? I need to do 100 push-ups every day and 100 sit-ups every day. And to be successful in that goal, I need to do 100 push-ups every day and 100 sit-ups every day. Objectively speaking, if I didn't do 100 push-ups today, that would be bad. Objectively speaking is bad. There were well-defined parameters of what good and bad are. Good is 100 push-ups. Bad is not 100 push-ups. So objectively speaking, did I have a good day? Well, Keith, did you do 100 push-ups? Yes, I did. Then objectively, that was a good day. That's the difference between objective and subjective in this conversation. Let me see. I'm going to go back and check the comments for a second, so I don't leave anyone in the dust. Words are enough. My English does appear to be designed intentionally to limit our thoughts and ability to discern. Just me, that's great. I can get behind that. That's a whole nother different topic. Just me, that is a whole ass, another different ass topic. But I like it. I agree. Yes, because certain words don't exist. Agree, Rusty Utter, which is why language is more complex. Words are added to the English dictionary all the time, all the time. And there's, I love you guys ever get those posts where it's like, there's a word in German and it's one word, but the one word describes the feeling of missing a place that you've never actually been to, but you still feel a strong nostalgia towards it, right? We have to explain that feeling with a hyphenated sentence, while the German language has one word for it, right? So yes, language is 100% limiting. Your sight is limiting. Sound is limiting. Feeling, everything is limiting. Welcome to the third dimension, but that doesn't mean we don't come up with more complex ways. I mean, this is a personal anecdote, but I might even think that maybe that's the fun. Like maybe that's part of the reason why we're here, is to be like, yo, how many different ways can we describe love? How many different ways can we describe this blissful feeling? I got 16. How many you got? 57? Rusty Utter, you got 57 ways to describe this beautiful situation? Like, I'm hanging out with that dude. That's what I'm trying to... So yes, just me. I do believe that at least some of the people around us are NPCs. Also another topic, but I like where your head's at. All right. Can we talk about that for a second? I know it's not on par with our talk, but I would love to talk about that because I do have a thought. So if you guys know what NPCs are, it stands for non-player character, and it's big in the video game world. So an NPC is like, say you're playing Morrowind, and you pick the mage, and you go up to some dude in the woods, and he's like whatever. Say your character name is Goku, like, oh Goku, thank God you're here. My son went into that cave over there, but I heard there's cave trolls. He hasn't come out in 6 weeks. Can you go save him? That's the NPC. They just, it doesn't matter who comes up to them. They have the same dialogue. They have one role. They're not real. They're operated by the computer system. And you interact with them, and they like lead you to your next quest, or they attack you. They do whatever they do, but they're not real. They're non-player characters. And so this person says, I believe that some people are NPCs, and I think that might be the case. I think there might be some people who aren't who are who are the person that are in the woods sending you on quests, but they're not real. So Mom, did you hear that? We are not... Uh-oh. What did you block out? I think you got... I'm free of responsibility. Woohoo, Inara. It's kind of like the dead internet theory. I don't know what theory that is, Rusty Utter. Ultra Instinct. Hello everyone else. My name's Keith. Welcome on in. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Mikasa esu casa. We're just... I'm trying to create a space. I don't know if you guys got this impression of me before, where I was like, you know, trying to do what's right and what's wrong, or present what's right and what's wrong. But I'm trying to do this thing where it's like, let's just talk about it. Let's just use facts, and use not even facts. Use a different religious texts against each other to get to the bottom of things, to see the usefulness in claims, to see the danger in some claims. If you're just tuning in, we're going over a comment that almost, in the sense of being its own caricature, it's that exaggerated. What I think is everything wrong about spirituality, as in as much as it's presented in the mainstream. You know, when you pull up your favorite TikToker, your favorite Instagrammer, your favorite YouTube, your favorite posts where they have like the really nice feeling poetic posts that have spiritual origin, that sound great and feel great, but do they make actual sense? Like as far as that goes, we can go back over the comment if you want to, sorry, or we can get back on with my bullet points. I have a whole bunch of bullet points. Is it time to get back to the bullet points? Maybe it is. Let me finish the comments real quick. Not at all. As long as you can understand the language, you'll have a better understanding of its meaning. Well said, Pooh Kitten. They love that lava water. They do, Ultra Instinct. Women love that lava water. I don't understand what's up with that. That's not me. I'm glad we can relate. But y'all are real. Look into Esperanto. It opens a lot of languages. Thank you, sir. I don't know what that is. I'll type that in my thing. Esperanto. Okay, I have it pulled up. Rusty Utter, thank you. I have it pulled up. Thank you. Hello, man of letters. It's good to finally meet you. Hi, everyone in the chat. Justin Yeager. It's nice to meet you too, man, or woman, or Arcturian, whichever you claim. What's the word? Leticia? What's the word? The bird is the word, man. Haven't you heard? The bird. Fernway? That sounds familiar. Yes, or say a French word to English like déjà vu, already seen. Where we at? GTA dudes who keep walking into the walls as if there ain't there. Yes, that's it. Ever heard those stories of isolated tribes who can't see colors because they haven't been exposed to it yet? I've heard stories of that. I want to say that show. I want to say The Secret presented that. I don't know if I believe that. I think it was that movie, The Secret, where they were talking about boats arriving to the new world, and the people literally couldn't see the boats on the horizon because they'd never seen boats before. At the time, because there was so much hype, there was all the musical score was nice, and they had all the different speakers, and like we really, you guys remember when The Secret first came out, we were like, talk about propaganda. Not that that's bad propaganda, but propaganda's propaganda. Whether it's good or bad, it still has a formula, and the movie The Secret and the book had that formula, whether you believe it or not. That's all I mean to say. Sorry, but I think it was in that, and at first I believed it, and now I'm like, prove it. You're telling me that we can't see things that we haven't already seen before? Then how are we seeing it? Anything, everything that we see, we saw for the first time before, yet we saw it. So I don't know if so this thing, just me, I've heard those stories of isolated tribes. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, not one bit. I'm gonna need to see some substantial proof for a claim like that. If it's a substantial claim, I'm gonna need some substantial proof. And you telling me that some tribe couldn't see a boat because it'd never seen a boat before is pretty substantial. Vivian P, hello. I'll have to watch later when I get headphones. There's a dog barking that's driving my dog crazy. Oh my God. I'm glad that our dogs aren't barking. We're gonna keep going. Thank you everyone for coming in. Everyone hit the like button so that we can create a beautiful space with more people, and it also gives me inspiration to keep creating videos. But let's be honest, I'll probably create them anyways. So let's keep going to my bullet points. Aren't you guys glad I did bullet points this time? All right, we did subjective. I had written down the irony of convincing others of a subjective reality, which is what the comment is trying to do. The paradox of trying to convince others that reality is only subjective or unknowable. Doing so presupposes a shared reality that we can all understand. So basically what the dude is saying, that the only thing that exists is the subjective reality. But then he wants everyone to agree on that, which would make it an objective reality. So the dude literally undermines his own, not even the dude, this idea period undermines itself. The idea that everything is an illusion, that the only real experience is direct experience, that the only thing you can know is true is your specific your perspective of reality is truth, and that's how spirituality presents it. That your perception of reality is truth, and that's it. That's evil, and that leads to a lot of evil things. So what do you guys think? I asked ChatGPT to give me good questions for interacting, and this is thank you, ChatGPT. It says, ask viewers if they think objective reality exists or if all reality is subjective. What do you guys think? Do you guys think or that objective reality exists, or if all reality is subjective? I have an answer for you. I have an answer for you. And I get that answer from you guys. Leave your comments while I answer, so that way you guys will have time before we move on. My answer is, welcome, welcome to existence, baby, where life both is and is not at the same time. It sucks, or maybe it doesn't suck. Actually, it's awesome that that's the case, because things being and not being at the same time give us the infiniteness of existence. If something was what it was all the time, there wouldn't be experience, right? For example, if the sun was always setting, would there be sunsets and sunrises? No, it'd be that one thing. We wouldn't have a special name. We would have a special name for it, but it would be one sort of existence for eternity, which would sort of take away the specialness, would take away the beauty of the sunset. Because in part, beauty is contrast. Like a white, like a field of white roses with one massive, beautiful red rose in the middle, right? That stark contrast, the difference between things, gives them beauty. So, thank God that we have that sort of paradox. But we can have both objective and subjective existing simultaneously. And here's an example. Remember when I talked about doing push-ups? So at the height of spirituality, and my own too, someone could say, was it bad that you didn't do your goal was to do 100 push-ups, but you didn't do them? Me before would have said something like, oh, there's no such thing as good or bad, it's just your perception. For example, let's say you didn't do those 100 push-ups, but instead you went to the cafe because you just wanted to get out and do the cafe thing, and then you met the love of your life. Was it a good thing? And then I would argue, oh, it was a great thing that you didn't do the push-ups because you met the love of your life. You wouldn't have met her without the push-ups. So I would have changed a bad to a good. The problem with this is that you can use that argument for anything. You could use that argument for the dude who started World War II and unalived a whole bunch of people. You could say, oh, well, what if, one of the people that he unalived during that war would have been successful in dominating the earth tyrannically? So you see what I'm saying? With enough intelligence, you could sort of skew any situation to be good with the right parameters. But that's not really how we want to live our lives. So we can have both of them existing. You can say, objectively speaking, if I don't do my 100 push-ups today like I set out to do, that is bad. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can say that things are bad and just leave it at that. I don't know what's wrong with people these days where they don't want to acknowledge bad. They have to spin it in a good way. Sometimes your failure is a failure. Sometimes you're not successful in what you set out to do because you sucked. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's okay to just maybe it's even better to acknowledge that sometimes things are just bad and to leave it as it is, So like I said, subjective reality and objective reality can exist simultaneously depending upon the situation that you're in. Just simply the situation that you're in. If your situation is, I was supposed to do 100 push-ups today, very simple. Did you do it? Nope. Okay, objectively speaking, that's bad. You could spin it subjectively and say, well, you got to spend more time with your loved ones or whatever, which is fine. That can all be spun as a good thing. But your specific reality that you created, the reality that says I am successful if I do 100 push-ups today, that was bad if you didn't do it. So we'll carry on. So I would like to encourage you guys to reflect. If you will, if you have the means and motivation, reflect on whether skepticism and self-doubt about knowledge contribute to or hinder your understanding of reality. Because this is what it comes down to. Like the whole point of me making videos like this of everyone is for me and for you to be happier. For you and I to get along more cohesively with our neighbors, meaning sharing more love, genuinely and sincerely, just getting along, being happier amongst each other, maybe arranging more parties with each other, maybe planning a fall Shire party with the homies at a local campsite, and you guys come together. Just the whole point of spirituality is to learn things that give us a better quality of life. So these weird things, like people using their intellect to philosophize that you can't know truth externally. Does that help you? What's your guys' experience? Are you guys like, oh yeah, like this is gonna make my life better. I can't know what's real outside because it's external, and I can't even know what's inside because my thoughts are biased. Like, yeah, that makes me happy. Like, that's a useful bit of information that one makes sense and two is practical. Like, I'm trying to encourage critical thought by exploring these ideas and forming your own perspectives, or at least a shared perspective that makes sense to us all. Suggesting, of course, truth serves as an ongoing journey rather than a definitive destination. You guys know how that goes. Um, you guys have any questions? Any interjections? Do you want to go back over the original comment again? Sorry, my neighbors are building. I don't know how loud that is, but the neighbors are building things. It's a combination of both. Justin Yeager beautifully said. If you're inner quantum, then you're into the is and isn't. If you're into the quantum, then you're into the is and isn't. All things are and aren't at the same time. Beautifully said, Justin. Which is nice. What I love about what you stated is that there's, at least to a degree, some form, some sort of real world practical science that affirms that with the split atom theory, or whatever it's called. I know there's been a lot of criticism against this. You guys know the split electron test from that show, What the Bleep Do We Know? So if you guys aren't familiar, there's this test they did where they were shooting photons. That's what it was. They were shooting photons, light. They're shooting photons through this piece of metal, and the metal had two slits in it. When they were looking at the metal, shooting the photons through the slits thought on the other side of those slits was a piece of paper, and the photons would hit the piece of paper, and it would show the two slits, right? Because that's what allowed them to pass through. So when they were looking at it, the photons acted like particles. When they looked away from it, the photons acted like wave. They underwent the wave function. So instead of there being two slits marked by the photons, when they looked away, there was like a dozen slits, meaning the photons behaved like wave functions instead of particles. Basically, the conclusion of the experiment was, wow, when we are looking at these photons, they act like particles. When we are not looking at these photons, they act like waves. So my perception changes the reality, changes the existence. The very fundamental nature of these particles, of these photons, are changed by my perception. And the conclusion was exactly what Justin Yeager said, that things are and are not at the same time, depending upon, again, the nuance of the situation. The nuance in this case being, were you looking? Okay, then objectively speaking, they were particles. Were you not looking? No, it was not. Okay, now they're a waveform. So a lot of this depends on the nuance, and a lot of people, especially today, are incapable of having nuanced conversations in any world. Like, oh my God, we just had politics right now. Do not start fighting in the comment section, please. Or maybe go ahead, fight. You'll give me algorithm boost. I would prefer my algorithm boosts coming from positive, uplifting comments. But beggars can't be choosers. Point being, we can't even have nuanced conversations about like politics. Whether you're Democrat or Republican or neither, or like you bailed out of politics altogether and all you're focused on is your garden and like your homemade pumpkin ale at the end of the year, like I did this year. Like whatever it is, people can't have nuanced conversations where they talk about a specific thing with a specific encounter with a specific person. Everything's sort of blanketed. Everything's like we become wrapped up. We over-identify with the ideologies that we claim, and as a result, we become that NPC that we're worried about, and we become a talking head for that ideology. You know, like if you're a Republican, if you're a deep-seated Republican, naturally, when you listen to things, you will be listening to it as a Republican. When you speak on things, political matters, when you speak on political matters, you will speak with the lens of Republican. And the more deeply ingrained you are in that ideology, the more deeply ingrained the heavier your filter, your lens will be on. You know how you guys ever made videos where you can put a filter on, but you can also like turn the intensity of the filter up, or you can turn it down. You can, right? So the filter is like being a Republican or a Democrat, and then when you turn that filter up, the filter is like super bright. So like all you see is red if you're a deep Republican, and if you're a deep Democrat, all you see is blue. So it's really hard to have nuanced conversations when all you see is like blood red, you know what I mean? Which makes it hard to have conversations where nuance is needed. Like, hey, I know that free healthcare for everyone is like, it allows people to live really awful lives and treat themselves miserably, but they still get taken care of by the state. That's not fair. I don't want to pay all this money into healthcare when it gets used on people who consciously reject good health, exercise, good food, exercise, meditation, going for walks. So their mental world has either deteriorated or their physical world has deteriorated. Usually it's both of those. And I don't want to feel obligated to pay for that when they did that to themselves. That's not fair. That's a fair assessment. But you could, that's totally fair. But you could also say something like, well, the government has like $3 trillion of money that's unaccounted for. Like, the Pentagon failed their audit in 2001, and there was like $2.3 trillion where the IRS was like, yo, where did this $2.3 trillion go? And the Pentagon was like, and then that was September 10th, by the way. You guys know what happened September 11th, so that sort of got swept under the rug. Point being, the nuanced conversation to that could be like, yo, I understand what you're saying, but the government has stupid amounts of money, so they can still take care of people. It's not like you have to pay more money. In fact, you would pay less money if the government managed its finances better. Instead of paying, I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't want to get in trouble. But my point being is that everyone, there's a piece of truth in sort of every side that everyone's coming at, but we got to meet in the middle. We got to have nuanced conversations where we sort of take ourselves out of like being in the world and not of the world, so that we can see things from a bird's eye view. And anyway, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Thank you for interjecting, everyone. Thank you. Double slit experiment, superposition based on position. Water is memories in the wave. I don't ever vote. So most folk portray false confidence due to lack of belief in their self, or to fall through and do as they set out to do, instead of living to the lying to the self, saying that you'll get it done and not do it. Don Coolio Swall, first of all, nice to see you. I'm gonna have to read your comment again because I'm not sure I understand what in God's name you're saying. So most folk portray false confidence due to the lack of belief in their self. Yes, I'm with you. Or to fall through and do as they set out to do, instead of lying to the self, saying you'll get it done and not do it. I think I'm in agreement with you. I'm not sure that second part of it. It's how the machine learning was theorized. Ooh, all right, Rusty. Never voted, never will. I just don't understand not allowing people, allowing two people do what they want is their life. There's room for everybody. I heard the IRS was defunct. Taxes are illegal, by the way. So that's my thoughts. Scroll up. Don Coolio. Did I miss something? Oh, I see where I missed. Instead, they lie to themselves, thus they don't even believe their own thoughts, which in turn diminishes your... Yeah, I feel you. MCQ 200 mil. What's up, brother? Nice to see you. Dang, you have no idea how much I appreciate the hell out of you, my dude, that you have been here all these years. I feel almost bad because I feel like I had intentions of hitting our 200 mil, or at least coming, somewhere close. Maybe hitting like 2% of that 200 mil like a long time ago, and I'm nowhere near it. I'm like not much further than the last time we spoke, so I feel kind of silly. But I also love you because you keep me inspired. Thank you. Your mind can. So I missed a whole bunch of comments. I'll have to watch later when I get there. Blind man cannot imagine blue. He can't imagine blue, but he also can't see blue because he's blind. So I feel like that's not necessarily the same sort of topic. Your mind can play tricks. It can. That's also true. That's also something that needs to be. I'm way back in the comments, you guys. All truths are half truths, right? Yes. What's real for me ain't gotta be so for him or her. But there is some overlap with truth. That's sort of the thing. There is overlap with truth, you know? Nikki Fit, hello. Who's the alien face behind you in the wall? That's my spirit animal. That's my spirit guide. So was Bob Marley. Bob Marley is also my spirit guide. If you guys want to know why I haven't been posting too much lately, it's because I've been playing music a lot. My band's been blowing up, kind of. I've been releasing new music, so... Do you guys want me to share music? I mean, it's spiritual music for the most part. Is that... I might just say F it and start posting my music to this channel. And I mean, I can't make it, you know... Anyway. Yes, to sharing more happy moments together with the loves. I find it better to see things less as failure, more as a learning experience, opportunity for growth. Yeah. It's important to, but we can do. I do this because I do this. You do whatever you want. I mean that sincerely. I don't mean that as like a clapback, because everyone needs to do what works for them. I'm at least playing with the idea to acknowledge failure as failure and not trying to spin it as something good, because it almost feels like it's like, as I talk about it and as I feel in my soul, it feels like an open and shut case type of thing. It's like, damn, I failed. You failed? I did. Like, fuck, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry too. You want to go get a beer? You know what I mean? Like, it's acknowledging failure is almost like acknowledging that you can close that chapter and start a new one. For me, you know, instead of being like, instead of having to use all this brain power and philosophizing and, you know, going extreme, taking it to the extreme end of relativism and spinning as something good. It's just like, why can't we, like, what's wrong with just saying we failed, you know? I'm not saying that you should. I'm glad that you spin things as, because that's good. Yeah, that's what you should do. Like, what was mentioned was, I think it was Ultra Instinct said in the comment section that they, instead of seeing things as failure, they like to see things as a learning lesson. But you can see them as both. You can learn from your failures, but also acknowledge the failure. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if we acknowledge failure more, it could change things. I'm not saying how that'll change things. I'm not saying it'll change things for the better. I feel like it will. I feel like it might at least give us a breath of fresh air in our pursuit for truth and happiness. Maybe the more we acknowledge failure, the more we acknowledge like shit that we don't want to do. You know, like back to the push-up thing. Like if my goal is to hit 100 push-ups every day, and I don't acknowledge that as failure when I don't hit it, then maybe I'll keep giving myself excuses to not do 100 push-ups every day, because I'm so good at convincing myself that the failure wasn't really a failure, but a learning process. You get what I'm saying? I'm sort of shooting from the hip here, but I feel like there might be a power in acknowledging failure. I feel like there might be a power in going, yo, I messed up real bad. I hate how it feels. I hate how this makes other people feel. I hate that I considered this long enough to make it a reality. I hate that I pondered this thought for such a long time that my body followed suit, because that's how it usually happens. We'll entertain a thought for so long that like eating ice cream. The more you fantasize about eating ice cream, the more you're gonna want to eat ice cream. Like, because I'm trying not to eat ice cream right now, so I noticed the moment eat ice cream comes up, I gotta freaking cut it out and like replace it with something immediately. Because the more I ponder ice cream, the more I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then I start convincing myself, like, oh, I'll work out more tomorrow. Oh, I worked out a lot yesterday. Or, oh, I'll just drink plenty of water. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, the more excuses we give for us to fail, the more, possibly, the more we might fail. So, like, so I'll take this one for the team. I'll take this one for the team. Y'all keep spinning bad is good, and I'll wear bad is bad for like a long time. I'll give it a few months of just wearing the failure. I'll create my own caricature. I will go off the deep end and be overly exaggerated with acknowledging my failure and feeling it. And I'll let you guys know how it goes, because I think we might be onto something. I think we just, in real time, came up with something. You know what I mean? Nice to be back, Don Coolio. Knowing is the enemy of belief. Oh man, Danny Skylark, beautifully said. Knowing is the enemy of belief. I love that a lot. Well said. Can we put that on a t-shirt? Rusty Utter, you failed, you learned. Beautiful. Beautiful. But if I may continue to beat the unalived horse, I would like to put more feeling in the failure part. Am I making sense? Or I'm not trying to be facetious for the. I'm not trying to go against the grain just to go against the grain. I feel like there's a whole world of existence that's not neither good nor bad. This is one of those subjective things. There's a whole world of existence where we make peace with our failure and to feel out failure, kind of like you see a sunset and say there's clouds, so you get one of those really pretty sunsets where there's lots of colors, and you're like, wow, the wind on my skin, and like you're slowly seeing the moon, or you're slowly seeing the sun dip beyond the horizon, and the waves are, my sunset's always at the ocean. The waves are lapping up, you smell the salty air, salty, fishy air, and it's just like, it's a whole feeling. And I feel like failure to a degree. What if we did that to the failure, and we felt that out, and by doing that, we're like, okay, and now I can make better decisions in the future. Like, all right, I felt that one out. I did. I gave it its due diligence, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't like it. So I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to do everything in my power to not do that again. I'm going to do my best. If you guys are here and you've been enjoying yourselves, please follow. We're trying to break 100,000 subscribers. I've been trying to break 100,000 subscribers for like 14 years now. We'll get there someday. But if you're new, feel free to subscribe, or everyone hit. We have 17 likes for 20 viewers. That's wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the support. I'm gonna keep reading comments. I used to stay in a very negative mind space. This is how I decided to change for me. All right. See, there's a nuanced situation. You existed in the negative. Do you feel like you could do it better? I'm not saying you can do it better. Ultra instinct. I think we've stumbled on something. The response, the retort to what I suggested was, well, Keith, I stayed in a negative spot for a long time and I didn't like it. So my question now is, out of curiosity, not telling you that you need to do something better or that you need to try it again, just pure curiosity, because I can't relate. Pure curiosity is, with everything I've said about it, do you think you could try it again, but in a better space? Like, instead of maybe you were like, I am a failure, instead of I committed a failure. Like, am I barking up the right tree here? Like, could you go back, like, say you fail now, could you go back to that failure and be like, all right, yeah, I fucked up. Like, it's no big deal. Everyone fucks up. I know how to fix it. It wasn't even, when I take all things into consideration, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm breathing. I'm motivated. I know I can hustle. I know I got my intelligence. I know how to learn. I know how to figure stuff out if I don't know how to do it. I failed. I feel that, but I'm in this new space of awareness where I can acknowledge the failure and be like, all right, baby, let's head back to the drawing board and let's get it right next time. Again, strictly out of curiosity, because I'm curious how that would unfold for you, or if it wouldn't work. for the sake of science, if you will. If you guys want to know why I'm looking over here, I have my computer here, so I'm actually reading your guys' comments on my computer because it's, I don't know why. I think it feels better. I'm going back through comments. No, because I too have big post from my wall. Dennis Garlock, you failed, you learned. I used to use. I read that. Aloha, Dennis Garlock. Some failures can change everything. Make sure that you have a risk assessment. Oh, for sure. Some failures can change everything. Did I say something that made it seem like I was advocating for failure? Because I'm definitely not advocating for failure. I'm advocating for success. Because some failures can change your lives. Some failures can end your lives, like running a red light, for example. So I'm definitely not advocating for failure. I'm advocating for the acknowledgement of it when it does arise, if it does. Like I'm talking, like again, I'm talking situations in which we can list a definitive good or bad. Situations where like right now, I'm planning a tour from San Francisco to San Diego. Today's Sunday. I told myself every Sunday I would spend 2 hours emailing venues so that I can book a gig. If I don't spend 2 hours emailing venues, that's a failure, objectively speaking. It's not me saying, "Oh well, Keith, it's not a failure. It's just a learning opportunity." Or you know whatever. I could just be like, look myself in the mirror and be like, Keith, you messed up. Get it together. Stop giving yourself excuses. Do what you set out to do. Do what you set out to do. And if something happens outside of you and you give it your all and something happens, I feel like I'm speaking like Tony Robbins or something. If you fail and you've given it your all, then you can, then you can sort of, you're obligated to spin it in such a way that shows mental prowess and saying, I gave it 110, I failed. Why? Now I'm going to learn from it. What can I do? But what do I need to improve about myself? Or what am I misunderstanding about the external world that I need to change in order to pursue this avenue more successfully next time? Had the same debate with ice cream the other day. I ate the ice cream, dude. I ate the ice cream too. It was Oreos for me, and I ate the shit out of those Oreos. I ate quite a few of those Oreos. Quite a few. I ate the Oreos with ice cream. As a matter of fact, I crushed up double stuffed Oreos inside of my cookies and cream and ate the whole thing together. So I'm not one above anything necessarily. But I am one who likes to have conversations. I give it only a set time to feel the failure. Beautiful, Rachel Stevens. I like that a lot. See, this might be the way. Give it a set time to feel the failure, because then you give it a parameter. You give yourself a chance to set everything else aside. To set aside the spinning it in a good way. You're setting aside the brushing it under the rug. You set aside, the opportunity to give yourself a scapegoat. You say you let go of all of that. You say for the next, even if it's 5 minutes, but I'm not saying sit there at doom and gloom and have a friggin' existential crisis for the next year and a half. Like 5 minutes, just sit there, and not even that. It could be 90 seconds. Like if you sat for 90 seconds and thought about like a extreme failure that you had, and talk to yourself as if you were someone else, like as if you failed yourself, and like, dang, Keith, remember how good it felt? Like I'll do it live for you guys right now. Keith, you told yourself you'd go to the gym like 2-3 times a week, and you've been telling yourself this for at least a year and a half now. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been busy, man. I have my music. I have a 5-year-old child. I need to spend time with my family. Like I have a day job. I have an online shop. I'm, making YouTube videos. Like I got a lot going on, dude. Like I'm like, yes, Keith, I understand that. That's true. You're killing it. Good job. But you can't neglect your physical body. Keith, remember how good you felt when you worked out all the time, your blood was oxygenated. You stood up tall because you know your muscles were in action, so your shoulders were pulled back because you were doing your back exercises. Like you saw yourself in the mirror and you saw your traps starting to form and your biceps starting to form, and you felt good and you felt like you could. Like, remember how good it felt? Like, damn, Keith, I do remember how good it feels to work out and exercise daily, both mentally and physically. I'm sorry that I've been neglecting it, because I have been. And objectively speaking, my life is substantially better spiritually, physically, and mentally when I'm active, when I'm running, when I'm working out, when I'm hitting the sauna. Uh, I feel that. I do. You're right. I will do better, Keith. I'll do better. I'll do better. Okay, boom. That was me acknowledging me not going to the gym regularly. It was like I didn't give myself excuses, or I did, but I argued against those excuses. I acknowledged the feeling of lack. In this case, was low energy. I acknowledged what I did get when I was successful, which is more energy, which is confidence. Like, you know what I'm saying? Simple acts. Sauron believes that it takes great acts of power to control mankind. I do not believe it is so. I believe it is small, ordinary deeds of everyday folk that can hold power, that can hold the darkness at bay. That was a Gandalf quote. I butchered it a little bit, but the idea was there. And then you have there are words and art. Oh, yes. Then don't give it any more energy. Learn more. Hold on. Language has a root. There's a Janus tone, two faces. Danny Lark, you're always looking for ways to be better. I definitely don't let failures affect me like they used to. Nice. I mean, I feel like if you're here, Ultra Instinct, then you with us, you know. I should be out jamming too. Guitar and vocals. Rusty Utter, I know, we've talked about it. I've been killing it. You guys, can I post my, I want to post my music, send you guys my music. I put out a beautiful album. Like the Bible, if you give it your all and still not working, then it's not meant to be. Maybe not. Sibilance. I concur. Just started working out more, and I definitely feel better. I believe we should speak to ourselves like we would our best friend. Yes, on the music. You guys have Spotify? I'll just type in Keith G on Spotify or Apple. My album is out on all platforms. You guys should check it out. It's beautiful. I want to start making more. I'm a reggae artist. Well, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for. Did I have a conclusion written or something like that? I wrote a conclusion, but I want ChatGPT to revoice it in Gandalf tone. And so, dear friends, we come to the end of this curious journey through words and wonders. Remember that even the wisest among us can find themselves tangled in webs of language, for words are powerful things. They shape our thoughts, they kindle our hearts, and even confound the mind. Yet, it is not words alone that make something real or true. It is our spirit, our intent, that breathes life into the world around us. Let us not be misled into believing that truth itself is unreachable or that the world is mere illusion, for even if reality is elusive, it is no less precious, no less worth seeking. Just as stars are hard to hold but ever worth gazing upon, so too is our pursuit of truth. Hold fast, let your heart remain true, and fear not to trust in what you see and feel, for therein lies the wisdom of the ages. Take heart and journey onward. For though words may sometimes fail us, the truth that calls to us shall not. That was beautiful. Wow, thank you. I know. Thank you guys for hanging out too. Thank you for hanging out too. This whole conversation is about not lying to the self. If you do, you cannot have belief or knowing of thyself. You will not be real. You will be fake. That's an excellent synopsis. That is an excellent synopsis, Don Coolio. Thank you for that. I like that. I like that. Hence, no one can have belief or knowing in what you're saying due to you lying to yourself. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. I almost feel guilty for asking you guys to support through the Patreon because I haven't been too active lately. But if you guys have the means and of course the motivation and you want to help support with the Patreon, that would be wonderful. Let me see if I can get you guys a link for it. Yes, here it is. It's just my name. If you guys have the means and the motivation you want to support on Patreon, you can. I appreciate it. Also, if you guys can leave me comments every day and say, Keith, please post some more content. Believe it or not, that helps a lot too. I swear, there was last week I wasn't posting up until about maybe 2 weeks ago. And for whatever reason, in a span of about 6 or 7 days, I was getting DMs through Instagram. I was getting Facebook messages through my Man of Letters Facebook, which I haven't opened in probably a year and a half. And I was getting text messages even of like, Keith, I miss you. Where you been? Please come back and make videos or something. And I was like, dang, dude, this is all right. So I'm here. So even you guys, even comments like that is inspiration for me to keep going. Like I said, if you have the means and motivation, you want to support on the Patreon, just chip in $1 or something like that every month would be also substantial motivation. I don't know if I'll be making too many audiobooks because they take an ungodly amount of time and I don't get any traction on them. I feel like I put out beautiful, just exquisite audiobooks and they get no love. I spent like 40 hours on an audiobook and I get like 1,000 views. Or I can spend, 1 hour on 2 videos and get 1,000 views, So I know I shouldn't think in terms of views and stuff like that, but I also got to make money off of this because I can't justify putting 40 hours into a YouTube video and not getting anything back. That is just, except for, I'll finish the Colburn though. I will finish the Colburn Bible because I already started it, so I will finish that. But it's gonna be slow coming. We're gonna be chomping at the bits for a while. But thank you guys so much. Where are we at? That's all it has. To reach 100K subs, you need to pump out many shorts with colorful subtitles and make it simple and interesting. Thank you, Coolio, for the tips. Yes, I have a program called Opus, and it's beautiful. I'm basically gonna take, once this video uploads, I put the URL into Opus, and it breaks down 10 of my best moments, and it does, like the post I put out the other day on a short was golden. So I'll be doing the shorts. I'll be doing the shorts for sure. Thank you so much for the reminder of that. But you're right, the shorts, I'm hearing, I've been out of the loop for catching YouTube algorithm these days. But more than that, I don't want to focus on the 100K too much. I threw it out there because I don't know, maybe I should have thrown that out there. What I want more this time around from the YouTube channel is being as appreciative as possible to the people who are here. Like we had 21 people in this group for a while, like 20 people plus in this live today for a while, which is pretty substantial. And now we're down to 11 and we're not even really talking about the content too much, which tells me that y'all need to be appreciated more. I'm sorry for always setting my sights on more and not being super stoked on the support that I've been getting now. Because if you guys open my Patreon, the link that I sent, I have 17 members and I'm getting $17 a month. So And that's not even posting. I'm getting $17 a month, and I have been posting really all of 2024, or most of 2024, which is like, I underlooked that. I undervalued that. That's saying a lot in how much my content is appreciated by at least those that have found it. So I'm sorry, you guys, and I will do better in appreciating y'all who are here now. And I really want to lean into, you know, if I can start post, let's say I don't get, I have 19, say I have 20,000 subscribers. If I only get, if I only get if I only get 1,000, if I post regularly enough and attach regularly enough with, you know, 1/20th of that, just 1,000 of the 20,000, and I get massive support from just that, that's huge. If you're an artist and and every time you show up, you have 1,000 people show up for you, like as a musician, you're getting booked anywhere. You're getting booked, not anywhere, but you're getting booked almost anywhere in the world if you have 1,000 people showing up for you. And I have the potential for that if I am proper in my approach to you guys, which needs to be more sincere. Sorry, I feel like I'm just spew, just thought vomiting on you guys. I'm sorry. Watch your channel, Alchemy. We need more souls like yours. Oh, thank you, Rachel Stevens. We're out there. Well, there's less of us because there's so much. How you guys feel about the AI, by the way? Oh my God, the AI is awful. I can't even YouTube search my favorite topics like conspiracy theories or, you know, forbidden archaeology. Anytime I type up some of my cool favorites like that, it's AI voice, it's AI text, it's AI art, it's AI scripted. Like the whole gosh darn thing is AI, and it breaks my heart. It's like, dude, I want to like. Which is why I'm taking the turn. It's funny that it took AI for me to be like, Keith, you need to be, because it's what my favorite YouTube channel is, a gamer channel. His name is Winter Starcraft. One of my favorite computer games is Starcraft 2. It's a strategy game. It's Age of Empires. If you've heard of that, you basically start out with nothing, you gather resources, you build an empire, and you beat the other guys. And so you're in control of, like, it's a strategy game. It's like it's anywho. Every day for the past probably 6 months, I watch this dude. He puts out a show every day. It's about an hour long. The dude's hilarious. And what I realized like a month ago, I was like, wow, I'm not even watching this dude so that I can watch StarCraft. I'm watching this because this guy has provided me like solace. And when I come home from work, I'll watch that. It'll sort of break up my day. I can relax. I'm entertained. The dude's sincere, and it feels like what he's providing isn't a video game, but comfort. Like I find comfort. I look forward to it in a like it's just, I don't know. And I fear the digital content creation space is going to lose that because everything's AI generated, you know? So now that's something that I aspire to be on YouTube is someone like, I want to be someone's Winter Starcraft where they're just like, oh, I got you. I don't want to teach people, you know, how to transcend the 3D as much as I want to be somewhere where people are like, ah, I'm just going to put this on and listen to it in the background and it's going to bring me down. It's going to level me out. It's the homie. It's like a safe space. Not the woke safe space, but just like my own personal safe space from the chaos that the world can be. And I like it. I'm gonna try to do that. Which makes it easier for me to make content. Sorry, you guys are at the back end of one of my lives, which means we're just rambling now. Which means it's easier for me to make content that way because before, part of the reason why I wasn't putting content out is because I've literally taught everything I could teach. There's only so many different ways I can talk about the law of vibration. There's only so many ways I can talk about the law of polarity. Like there's only so many ways I can say the same message, but with this new viewpoint, where it's like, Keith, it's not about, like Alan Watts said, it's not about finding God and peeling the potatoes. It's simply about peeling the potatoes. And so that's my value moving forward. It'll make it easier for me to make content, a little more loose, a little more free, a little more emphasis on, yes, providing spiritual knowledge, and spiritual commentary, but more so hanging with the homies regularly so that we all have a place that we can reliably and consistently feel good. That's where I'm at. Rusty, yes, it's true. It's all right here. So much info. Your readings are. Thank you, Rachel. I love my readings too. I listen to my own readings, and I sort of kick myself like, damn, Keith, you were killing. Like, why'd you stop making readings? And then I go to the backyard. I'm like, oh, this is why I didn't make readings, because they take forever, and I get like 1,000 views on the video. The confusion. And YouTube has a new setting where you can go live in mode, where you can be in the algorithm of new viewers. I think that's where we are now. Is there anyone here who's not subscribed to the channel? Out of curiosity, we have 19 people. How many people here are not subscribed to the channel? And how did you find us? If you're not subscribed, did you find us in the For You page? Oh, I'm glad to be back too, Dee Dee. And I'm sorry it took me so long. I'm reading your guys' comments. So glad. Hello there. Hope you're well. I'm doing well. Just Rena Bina. I hope you're doing well as well. Often the great is overseen. 'Tis. Mindfulness is gratefulness. It is highly respectful of the self. Makes you a real life better person. Thank you. Oh, you guys are helping me remember myself. So thank you. I say nope. I don't know what you're saying nope to. I hope it's the AI generated content. I used, like, I typed all my talking points. I talked about what I didn't like about the comment. I put the comment itself in. I said I need it. My emphasis is what the bad side. If I put everything, like I spent like a good hour organizing my thoughts. I put it into ChatGPT and I said, organize this into bullet points for my YouTube channel. And in 2 seconds, bam, I was like, wow, this is golden. Like, this is beautiful. And I said, hey, now make it again, but I need you to include hooks in between the different bullet point sections. And it said, say less, fam, boom. And it put hooks in between each section. Like, I love technology. I do. I wish I wish my love for nature and my love for technology was in a billionaire, so that instead of someone like Elon Musk using his brilliance in finances to colonize Mars, an Elon Musk type would use their brilliance and their finances to, I don't know, regrow a tropical rainforest in Southern California. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my head's. I love technology. I enjoy AI, but I also, it's like everything else, man. Electricity can cook food, or it can cook a human. Like, I don't know. We're in strange times right now. We're in strange times. Look on the bright side. To fill a room with 10 to 20 people that are all here to listen from your wisdom, just as fulfilling as having 1,000. It is, Coolio. And not only that, I get to actually interact with you guys. You know, it's pretty dope. I use it and believe it too. Just be a really good tool, something to bounce ideas and organize my thoughts. Yeah. It's scary how fast artificial is consuming everything. 'Tis. Because we don't have to be here, but we choose to our own conscious decision. Thank you once again. Oh, thank you too. I like mashed potatoes with the skins. I don't think I've had mashed potatoes with the skins in it. A good portion of the nutrients are there. Yeah, absolutely. Alarani, Naskinto. I've missed going live too. I really have. I honestly, the same feeling I get when I end a show, like when I play music and I end the show and I feel like hyped and really excited, and I'm excited because everyone is excited. I'm just like on cloud nine. I get that same feeling when I finish a live. Not as extreme, but the feeling is still there. I love being here with y'all. Complexity is like being told we are dead under maritime waters law with like different constitutional laws. Yes, by the alien invasion tropes do Bible. The alien invasion tropes. My co-pilot is teaching Excel for the past week. Oh, nice. I found your channel while searching for occult knowledge and lectures. Appreciate the content, even though I don't spend a lot of time on social media. Wraith, thank you for being here, Wraith. I hope you follow us. Um, I love spiritual lectures. Um, I haven't been doing any spiritual. I've been reading more than ever, but I haven't been reading spiritual or occult texts. I've actually been reading fantasy novels. And I've been loving every minute of it. I was like, I've loved reading for such a long time, but I feel like the past decade has been just occult and self-development, spirituality, Colbrin, Gnostic texts, and it's like I love it, but at this point, I'm not even reading. I feel like I'm reading so that I can be smarter. I'm not reading for the pleasure of reading. So I've been reading for the pleasure of reading, and go figure, it's been quite pleasurable. And the cool thing about reading fantasy books, if you pick a good one, there are spiritual teachings in them. Like good fantasy novels that are worth their weight in the paper they're printed on have spiritual lessons written into them. That's the thing with the Colbrin or the Gnostic or the Hermetic laws, like vibration and polarity and as above so below and gender, like polarity, rhythm. These laws are reality, and when good writers utilize those laws in their books, that's why we love them so much, because the truth in the fantasy novel is how it plays out, is good versus evil, is the philosophy of the evil-minded compared to the philosophy of the righteous-minded. Like think of a story like Batman and the Joker, right? The Batman and Joker is such a beautiful juxtaposition because of the contrast they represent. Batman is ultimate order. Even his face is a perfectly square jaw. Like Batman has it's perfect. It's like masculine. He's masculine. He's order. He's no bullshit. He like stands like this all the time. He never laughs. He's stoic. And who is his counterpart? Why do we love the Joker so much? Because the Joker represents his almost exact counterpart. He's maniacally laughing all the time. He's super eccentric and flowy. He's always like moving. He's always like moving around and shit. You know, I mean, he's always laughing. He's always he's chaos. Joker, he speaks in he speaks in riddles. There's no less order than speaking in riddles. So the beauty of Batman and Joker, the reason for its success is how well it abides to universal law, how well it abides or how well it portrays natural law, right? Because there's other evil villains in the Batman world, but none of them are talking. The Penguin's dope. He's a dope character, but and they're bringing him out, but it's like I don't think it's going to be that big of a success. Anywho, I'm glad you found us, Wraith, and I hope you follow us, and I hope you come back. I hope you come back. You've had alien contact? Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with your guys' comments. Mashed potatoes. Okay, I'm caught up. I saw mashed potatoes, so I think we're back. It feels so good. La lava water. AI voice feels like then the info sometimes is nonsense. The info is, yeah. As someone who uses AI a lot, I can spot AI text pretty easily, and it's disheartening. You know what I have been using AI for to great result is whenever I'm arguing with someone on Facebook, especially with politics or something like that, I type in what I want to say, but then I type it into ChatGPT and I say, hey, can you word this that's kind and sincere? And dude, the responses AI gives to like internet trolls, not actual internet trolls, but like keyboard warriors, they're beautiful. Oh my God. You can tell their response is like they don't know what to do with themselves. It has this formula that ChatGPT does in that circumstance where it acknowledges what the other person is saying. It gives validity to what the other person is saying, and then it kindly but sternly tells them that they're wrong in the kindest tone. It's beautiful. I would never be able to pull it off. My emotions, I'm like 2 sentences through Facebook retorts, and I'm like, my emotions are flaring, my heartbeat is up. Like what I thought was going to be 1 sentence turns out to be an entire paragraph of just cattiness. I could never do it. But with ChatGPT, oh my God, it's wonderful. We should plant fruit trees and veggies all over that. Yes, Rachel Stevens, you're speaking my language. That's why you guys got to join my Patreon and help support me, because I will be the Elon Musk that blends technology with plant science. I will be that guy. I will build the pyramids, support me, elect me for president, or at least for your next Elon Musk, and I will grow your forests. I will line your sidewalks with fruit trees instead of ornamentals. Like, who plants ornamentals instead of fruit trees? And then goes on to talk about how unsustainable our planet is. Yeah, let me buy an orange that was trucked in from Florida on hundreds of thousands of miles, tens of thousands of miles of asphalt, diesel fuel, the rubber in the tires, the materials in the truck, the wages we had to pay the driver's clothes, the grocery store and market that the orange sits in. Now I gotta drive, like, there is an enormous amount of energy and waste gone into buying an orange from a store, and you're telling me I could just plant an orange tree? You guys know that a mature orange tree produces something like, on average, 300 to 400 pounds of oranges a year? 300 to 400 pounds of oranges a year an orange tree produces. What? But we plant ornamental. Anyway, I digress. I will be the rich philanthropist that blends science and nature. That will be me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not completely bright side. I'm kind of dark side in that I think I would definitely fund research for creating GMO trees that bioluminesce so that we can plant bioluminescent trees. I'm like 90% sure that I would GMO a tree to glow in the dark. Is what I'm getting at. So just know that I'm not. If that deters your vote, then that deters your vote. Please like and subscribe. Join my Patreon. Ben Hudson, hello Ben. I plant trees. I will never sit in the shade of my legacy. Spliff session to unwind with some natural herb. Nice. It is harvest season. It's harvest season over here, so we got a lot of that oregano harvested. That's also. Wraith says you definitely need a break from it. That's also right. Everything carries a message. You just have to find it hidden. Well said, Wraith. You got my vote. It's okay to suck. I have a great area to grow, but it's full of invasive plants. We'll get on it, Rusty Utter. Anyway, I'm also a plant master. I studied horticulture. I love plants. I got a garden. I have a TikTok with like 30,000 followers on TikTok because the world needs plants right now, which is also what I've been spending my time on. We've been killing it on the... it's like 90% plant talk and 10% like Man of Letters talk. But if you guys need help with plants, dude, we'll do the plant thing. I'll do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes. John Wick has symbols everywhere. All hidden and overlooked until you know symbolism. Well said. Learning symbolism might be a great area for all you guys, by the way. Ben Hudson, your voice is magic. Also the bow? What's the bow? What's the BO? We have all been sprayed for years. Who doesn't have objects? Batman is the good guy, but surrounds himself in darkness. While the Joker is the bad guy, but he's in the light. See, Wraith 626? Oh, that's beautiful. You know? And that's not even... What you brought up, Wraith, it isn't even like... It's not that it's a truth or not. it's that he plays on the natural mechanics. Isn't it interesting that your good guy is surrounded in darkness? That's striking. That's creativity, baby. That's the epitome of creativity. The juxtaposition, the contrasts of the world, the contrast of having your good guy being the one who never laughs and the bad guy being the one who laughs all the time. The good guy being the one surrounded in dark colors, but the good guy is the one who's in like purple and green and yellow. He's like a clown, you know what I mean? He's the fun, that's, see what I'm saying? That's someone who understands the mechanics of the world and knows how to manipulate them to appeal to like our own nature. Well said, Wraith. Well said. Always wondered why fruit trees weren't everywhere. Had to get a little. So the reason why they say fruit trees aren't everywhere is because the fruit falls and makes a mess. But what they've discovered is, hopefully this doesn't demonetize the video. The music is pretty loud. Oh my goodness. La 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 la. Anyway, the funny thing is that they've planted all male trees, and male trees produce pollen, and so they've just cranked up the amount of allergies that the city gets because all the trees are male pollen creating trees. So we have a shit ton of male trees and no female trees because the female tree typically is what produces the fruit. And the fruit drops on the ground and makes a mess. So that's the logic behind not planting fruit trees in your city, which I think is terrible logic. I think it's terrible logic. Batman who laughs enters the chat. After sun gazing, I write the symbols down. Wow, Danny Skylark, that's gangster. Dude, I like that. Bioluminescent plants don't already exist. Yes, bioluminescent, well, so I don't know if there's bioluminescent plants, but there's 100% bioluminescent mushrooms. I forgot the scientific name. It's a type of oyster mushroom. It's edible. It's not very tasty, but it's edible and it grows on decaying wood, on dead wood, and it glows in the dark. The ghost mushroom glows in the dark, but it's parasitic and it kills living trees, so that one's kind of dangerous. But there's a ton of mushrooms that glow in the dark. They're awesome. I've grown them before. But I don't think there's any plants that glow in the dark. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's plants that glow in the dark. Which is why I would GMO the shit out of a tree to glow in the dark. Thank you, DB Blah. I got your vote. Yeah. Thank you so much. Vote for Keith for your next insanely rich philanthropist. Everyone gets a hobbit home. Everyone gets a glow-in-the-dark tree in their backyard. We pull up all the decorative trees and we plant fruit trees. Every home in the country gets a fruit tree. I did the numbers for my TikTok channel, and it was something like the amount of produce the country could generate if every tree planted one fruit tree in their front yard, and how much that would offset the global pollution, how much diesel fuel has to burn to transport the millions of tons of fruits to your house or to your store at least, and then the millions of gallons it takes for people driving to and from the grocery store. There's 250 million of us, and we're doing that every week. So you can imagine hundreds of millions of gallons of gas are being burned to drive to the store to buy apples. Like, it's ridiculous. Well, apples and other groceries. They're buying all the groceries. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Vote for Keith. Weeds are truly our medicine, but hardly no one knows it. Be careful of the weeds, though, because there's some weeds that'll kill you. Like the castor bean is a weed around here. Produces ricin, one of the most, if not the most lethal toxin plants can create. It'll take all of like 2 or 3 beans to dissolve your liver. Also, another weed that grows that's deadly is datura. Datura smells amazing, grows like a weed around here. It smells like a beautiful, sweet, nutty flavor. But if you eat a lot of it, a little bit of it, you'll have hallucinations and you'll probably die. I don't know if the hallucinations will stop before or after death. They could. For all we know, that hallucination might be real, and your soul is transported to another dimension via this plant, and your body dies. I can't say that that's not what happens, but that's datura. Grows everywhere. You might know it as jimson weed. It's got those really pretty long white flowers or yellow flowers, depending upon the species. What else? Tobacco tree. Tobacco tree grows like a weed. Grows around here, pretty much all over the country. It's in the tobacco family where it produces nicotine, but it also produces another derivative of nicotine that's extraordinarily toxic. So if you tried to roll one up with tobacco tree leaf, you'd get probably a third of the way done with the roll before your heart stopped. So weeds tell us a lot about the environment, and a lot of the times they're very healthy, but some of them are super toxic and they grow everywhere. So get yourself a plant ID book. Honestly, what's easier than a plant ID book is get yourself a book that names the poisonous plants. There's a lot fewer poisonous. It's easier to know the poisonous plants than to know the good ones. Not that you guys came here for a plant lecture, but yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. When I go on a walk, I see my favorite thing to do is to know, because like zombie apocalypse, to know all the edible plants within walking distance from your house. I live at the edge of a rural area, so I have hikes and like a big old mountain right there. I'm close to cities, so I know where all the stuff is. I'm like, okay, that's that. You can use that for making fires. There's all my sages, of course. There's all my mugworts, of course. Okay, there's all my oak trees. Okay, there's all my California black walnuts for parasite detox. I'm a plant guy. Tobacco is off limits for me. I tend to vomit if I inhale. Well, then don't inhale it, dude. I do not condone the use of any herbs, whether legal or illegal. This video is for entertainment purposes only. But tobacco is actually, the right variety of tobacco is very healing when used properly. It can be very, very healing. Oh, dude, I got the plant identifier app too. That thing's golden. I love it so much. Tobacco tea, mapacho. Yeah, tobacco is super healing. It's been perverted like a lot of plants have been, but no, I love tobacco. I mean, I don't love tobacco. I don't partake in it. Though when I do partake in it, I enjoy the hell out of it. It's not one of my, it's not something I come across very, very often. Oh yeah, don't get the. I mean, you can get pretty good seeds of heirloom tobacco plants. There's hundreds of varieties of heirloom tobacco plants. They smell amazing. They look beautiful. They're low maintenance. They're toxic to plants around them. I think it's called allelopathic, or I might be thinking of the wrong word. But they release nicotine. They release poison into the soil so that they can outcompete the plants around them. So if you are going to grow tobacco, the good kind, don't plant it next to anything else. Do you know New Life 2s? Oh yeah, no. I think I follow New Life. Anywho, I'm gonna take off, you guys. I'm hungry. Man, we've had such a good following. If you guys are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We have lots of stuff coming up. I don't know how often I'll be able to go live, but I will do my best to at least post every day. I can usually get a post recorded, edited, and posted within an hour or so, or within 45 minutes or so. So I should be able to get a post out every day to just provide a space to chill with the homies. You know what I mean? And yeah. Yeah. If you guys would like to support, please don't get mad at me for putting this in front of your face all the time. I just fish gotta swim, birds gotta eat. But if you do want to support, you can with the Patreon. I think you can even join Patreon for free now. But cheapest member's like $1. If you have the means and motivation, you want to support your Patreon, that's great. Comment on the videos, that's great too. I love you guys. I guess that's it, right? I guess that's it. Happy birthday, brother. Everyone, Rachel, Danny, Ultra, Rusty Utter, Danny, Don Coolio, Dee Dee, Pooh Kitten. Did I miss anybody? Danny Sky, Dee Dee, Rachel. Thank you guys. I'll see you soon, okay? Bye. End. End live.